Hi friends, today we are going to see the past year NEET questions for the chapter Photosynthesis. So we are continuing with part 2 today. So let's begin with the first question here. At a temperature above 35 degrees Celsius dash. So this question was asked in the year 1992. So here they are asking us about the photosynthesis rate, okay, at a temperature above 35 degrees Celsius. What happens to the rate of respiration of photosynthesis? Now you're given four options here. Rate of photosynthesis will decline earlier than that of respiration. Rate of respiration will decline earlier than that of photosynthesis. There is no fixed pattern and both decline simultaneously. The correct answer to this question is option A. Rate of photosynthesis will decline earlier than that of respiration. Now, we'll discuss the solution here. The optimum temperature of the photosynthesis is 20 to 25 degrees Celsius for C3 and 30 to 45 degrees Celsius for C4. Now, what do you mean by the C3 and C4 plants? See, green plants are unique and they possess the ability to fix light energy from sunlight through a process called as photosynthesis. We all know that. The photosynthesis is essential and it involves the synthesis of carbohydrates with atmospheric carbon dioxide, water and energy. Now, the process of photosynthesis in plants is completed by two broad methods. What are the two methods it involves? One is the light reaction and the other one is the dark reaction. So we have two broad categories. So one is light and the other one is the dark reaction. In the light reaction, the chlorophyll molecules in the plants absorb energy from the sunlight and synthesize energy rich chemicals which produce ATP. Now what happens here in the dark reaction? The energy rich molecules are used up for the synthesis of carbohydrates with carbon dioxide. They are essentially different types of dark reaction pathways. Now the components of these pathways, okay, you have it as a classification as C3, C4 and CAM plants. Okay, C3 plants which uses what do they use? They use Calvin cycle. Okay, so understand the difference because many will have a doubt of what is this C3 and C4 plant, right, of dark reaction of photosynthesis. So plants which use C3 Calvin cycle, this is of dark reaction. Now C4, if you see, the plants in addition to C3 cycle also uses an additional dark reaction pathway. That is, you have three dark reactions here. You have, apart from three dark reactions, you also have additionally one. Okay, now what do you mean by the CAM plants? They are also similar to this pathway only. The only difference is that the only difference between the C3, C4 and CAM. What do you mean by CAM? How can you describe it? See, CAM plants are the ones which are also known as CAM photosynthesis. It's a carbon fixation pathway that is evolved in some plants as an adaptation of arid conditions. So what is the full form of CAM? If you see, it is called as carcinosin. Okay, the spelling is carcinosin acid metabolism. Okay, so you just need to understand the differences here. In C3 plants you get wheat as an example. Here for C4 plants you have rest of the examples. So here what you need to understand is the optimum temperature that is required for a photosynthesis to occur. If it, in case of C3 plants, it is 10 to 25 degrees Celsius, and in case of C4 plants, it is 30 to 45 degrees Celsius. So the correct answer to this question is option A. Next question here. Protochlorophyll differs from chlorophyll in lacking dash. What they are telling us here? Protochlorophyll. What do you mean by protochlorophyll? Protochlorophyll will differ from chlorophyll in lacking two hydrogen atom in one of the pyrrole rings. Now what do you mean by protochlorophyll? How can you describe it? See, protochlorophyll can also be described as see, it is one among the chlorophyll method only. Okay, you don't have to have any doubt in it. It is one among the chlorophyll method, but here apart from it's not just chlorophyll, but it is a green magnesium containing pigment that is present in etiolated leaves and seedling which develop in the dark and that is converted into chlorophyll by the reduction under the influence of light. So since this reaction takes place in the dark, okay, you require, apart from chlorophyll, you require an extra pigment which will help that conversion. Okay, so you can tell like that. Now, what is the difference between chlorophyll, protochlorophyll and chlorophyll is that protochlorophyll is an immediate precursor of chlorophyll that lacks the phytol side chain of chlorophyll. So what does protochlorophyll lack? They lack the side chain. They lack the side chain of chlorophyll. Okay, always remember this. This is the only difference between a chlorophyll and protochlorophyll. So here the correct answer is option A. It lacks in 2 hydrogen atoms in one of its pyrrole rings. So in the later questions I will show you the diagram of or the picture of pyrrole ring. Okay, next question here, which was asked in the year 1996. Chlorophyll A molecule at its carbon atom 3 of pyrrole ring 2 has one of the following. Okay, now this question was asked in the year 1996 and again repeated in the year 97. So this is a repeated question here. Now you're given 4 options here: aldehyde, carboxyl, methyl and magnesium group. See, we all know that we have chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B. There are different things, right? Now talking about the chlorophyll A. Okay, what else you can say about that? Chlorophyll A is a specific form of chlorophyll which is used in oxygenic photosynthesis. So where we are using it? Oxygenic photosynthesis. Okay, we are using in oxygenic photosynthesis. It absorbs most of the energy from wavelengths of violet, blue, orange, red and other colors. It also reflects green, yellow light and it's such that contributes to the absorbed green color of most of the plants. Apart from that, this chlorophyll A specifically contains methyl group. So I've given you the answer, right? Chlorophyll A has a methyl group attached to the 3rd carbon. So when to the 3rd carbon, which is replaced by an aldehyde group in the chlorophyll B. So in chlorophyll A you will have methyl group, and chlorophyll B, this methyl group will be replaced with aldehyde group. So A has methyl and B has aldehyde group. Therefore remember this answer. There are chances for these questions to appear in your NEET exam. So the correct answer to this question is option B, methyl ring, and this is how the pyrrole ring will look like. Okay, fine. Now let's move to the next question here, which was asked in the year 1997. Most plants are green color because... Wow, this is a very easy question for you to answer, right? Why do plants appear green? It's because of the pigment, right? So look at the first option here. The atmosphere filters out all the colors of visible light spectrum except green. That is not the answer, because we don't have, the atmosphere doesn't have the capacity to do that. Second thing, green light is the most effective wavelength region. No, second one is also wrong. Third option, chlorophyll is least effective in absorbing green light. So option C is correct, because we have a special pigment in the plant which will selectively absorb the green color, the green wavelength from the atmosphere. So chlorophyll is least effective in absorbing the green light. Therefore the correct answer to this question is option C. The leaves appear green because of the pigment chlorophyll, which does not absorb green light, rather it reflects back. Okay, so what does it do here? It is not absorbing here. It is not absorbing. Instead, it is reflecting back. I like to give you an example here. People, there are, see, when we come to color, when we wear color dress, we all have the tendency to wear white, right? It reflects back. If we wear black or some other dark color, it has a tendency to absorb light, to absorb the rays from the sun. The same scenario follows here. You must have noticed that people who are dark, even if they wear white, it doesn't look that dark on them. That is because the white which is on them is reflecting on them and the atmosphere, so that the person doesn't look that dark. You must have seen this difference. So same scenario is seen here. The leaves are appearing green, but the chlorophyll is a pigment which appears green. That is a color which gives a green color to the plants. Now this is not further absorbing any green light. It is only reflecting the light it has got. right? Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option C. Easy question, right? It's just a logical question here. These questions, see, you will not get it in books, but these are something to do with your logic. Next question here, which was asked in the year 1996. The principle of limiting factors was proposed by dash. This is a very easy question. The principle of limiting factors was proposed by Blackman. Okay, this was proposed in the year 1905. Now, who is this Blackman? Any idea? Before we go, what did he say about that? Before that, we will see who is this black man. Okay, see, um, Blackman was the one who talked about, or who explained the principle of limiting factor. Okay, he explained the law of limiting factor. Okay, his full name is Frederick Frost Blackman, and he's a British plant physiologist. Okay, he studied medicine in a Bartholomew's hospital, and he graduated MA and all that is fine. What does this law tell you? If you see, he proposed this law of limiting factors in the year 1905. According to this law, when a process depends on a number of factors, its rate is limited by the pace of the slowest factor. So what they are telling here is, to put it in a very simple way, we can take an example here. Imagine you are going to start a new work, or you're already doing an existing work. When you're about to start something, if so many disadvantages going to come in your way, you have so many limitations. So what happens to your work? Will it proceed very fast, or will it be slow? So that is what he is talking here about. When there are too many limiting factors, when a process is going on, when a reaction is carried out, the reaction will only get slower. So that is what is brought about in this principle. Okay, so this law was actually proposed by Blackman. Okay, the correct answer is option A. Next question here, which was asked in the year 1994. 9/10 of photosynthesis of world, 85 to 90%, is carried out by dash. Again, this is to do with your logic. You don't get these books from, these questions from books. So, let's come to a population count. Can we do that? Fine. So when I say population count, just imagine two things. We have plants and we have algae. So which is in high concentration? Algae. So, okay, 9/10 of the photosynthesis of the world is carried out by the algae of ocean. Okay, why? If you see how big the ocean is and how much algae is found there, so these algae will actually carry out the photosynthesis in a most predominant way when compared to a plant. So if you look at the first option, large trees with millions of branches and leaves. Nowadays you don't see trees only, right? So where will that 9/10 of the photosynthesis will be carried out? Chlorophyll containing ferns of the forest. See, ocean is overall the planet. When I talk about forests, it is confined to a particular area. So here 9/10 of the photosynthesis of the world is carried out with the algae of the ocean. Therefore, the correct answer is option B. Next question here, which was asked in the year 1993. Maximum solar energy is trapped by dash. Again, as I explained in the earlier question, how much predominance is shown from algae side, because algae can grow in any place which has moisture, but a plant can't do that, right? Damp areas, moist areas, if there's extra water, if there's too much of water, if the water is stagnant, it doesn't care, it grows. Even if it grows in your places where there is a lot of moisture. So maximum solar energy, if you see, it is trapped by the growing algae in tanks. Algae are the most efficient photosynthesizing organisms. Okay, so here you have a picture which represents that. You have the algal bloom over the pond. See how fast it can grow, right? So it shows clearly how much effective it uses the photosynthesis method. Okay, therefore the correct answer to this question is option C. Now moving to the next question here. All types of plastids possess essentially the same structure because they dash. Okay, this question I think we've already discussed in the earlier parts, not exclusively in photosynthesis, but different other parts of this different chapters. Now all types of plastids possess essentially the same structure because they dash. Now we'll go one option by option. Okay, first one, perform the same function. No, because plastids contribute to the, what do they contribute to? What are plastids first of all? Because we'll discuss that first, then only you will understand what I'm talking about. See, plastids, are they related with pigments? Any idea? Plastids can be described as, are exclusively found in plants. Okay, it's a membrane bound organelle found in the cells of plants, algae and some other eukaryotic organisms, rarely. They are considered as endosymbiotic. Endo means inside. Okay, endosymbiotic means they live in relationship within the organism. There is no any external force coming from inside. Cyanobacteria, cyanobacteria is one good example here. Plastid was first discovered by Haeckel, and later on it was Skimper who actually told what plastids are. Okay, now apart from that, now I've given you what plastids are. Now you can tell me what the answer is. Obviously it is not option A, perform the same function, because plastids, they do not perform same action or function. Stored food materials like starch, fat and protein, no. Occur in aerial parts, no. All types of plastid possess essentially the same structure because they can transfer from one form to another. Imagine you have sheets of paper. Okay, when you draw with a pencil, you can rewrite again, you can erase it and write. Likewise, the same scenario is seen here. When a plastid is almost of the same structure because they can easily transform from one form to another. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option D. Depending upon the color, plastids are of three types. You have leucoplast, chromoplast and chloroplast. Okay, the correct answer is option D. Now next, coming on to the next question here, which was asked in the year 1992. Chlorophyll occurs in dash. Oh my god, this is a very easy question for you to answer, I think. Again, it's to do with your logic because they have almost given all similar options here. So here, if you see, you're given four options: all photosynthetic autotrophs, all in all higher plants, in oxygen liberating autotrophs, all plants except fungi. Now out of the four options here, you clearly need to analyze which process which will be correct for this. Chlorophyll, of course, photosynthetic autotrophs, okay, it is accepted. So this question, which was asked in the year 1992, chlorophyll A occurs in dash. Okay, so here we've already discussed a lot about this. We have four options here: photosynthetic autotrophs, in all higher plants, oxygen liberating autotrophs, all plants except fungi. Now, if you look at this question here, when you talk about photosynthetic autotrophs, it's a very common process, right? Now, what is this chlorophyll A? What is the role of it? Chlorophyll A absorbs the wavelength of violet, blue and orange red light and functions as a primary electron donor during the during the electron transport chain in photosynthesis. What is the function? If you see, it is to transport the energy reaction center where P60 and P700 are located. So this is the overall function of chlorophyll A. Now, chlorophyll A, it's okay when it comes to the concept of photosynthetic autotrophs, but apart from that, you all remember when I spoke about in the first part where I mentioned that a photosynthesis process will liberate water, it liberates oxygen, then it of course has energy also, ATPs also, which will be used up by the plant. Now likewise, photosynthesis, though it is a common process, but chlorophyll A will exclusively occur in all oxygen liberating autotrophs. Okay, therefore the correct answer to this question is option C. It is found in all photosynthetic plants except bacteria, hence it is termed as universal photosynthetic pigment. Okay, next question here, which was asked in the year 1991. Photosynthetic pigments found in the chloroplast occur in dash. This is a very easy question for you to answer. By now you'd have guessed it, right? The correct answer is thylakoid membranes. What are thylakoids? They are disc shaped, which appear like piled up coins, where they store the pigments which are responsible for photosynthesis. Okay, so photosynthesis pigments are occurring in the photosynthetic thylakoids of chloroplast. So this is how you see here, right? stroma, thylakoid, they are all appearing. So this is grana. Which is grana? This is grana. So where you have thylakoids, this is thylakoids. Okay. Apart from that, you want any information about thylakoid? See, they are responsible for the function, for the photosynthesis to occur. They are membrane bound organelles or components which are present in the chloroplast and cyanobacteria. They are a site of light dependent reaction of photosynthesis. They are highly dependent upon light. Okay, they consist of thylakoid membranes surrounding the thylakoid lumen. Chloroplast thylakoids frequently form stacks of discs which are referred to as grana. Therefore, the correct answer to this question is option A. Next question here, which was asked in the year 1989. A very efficient converter of solar energy with net productivity of 2 to 4 kg meter squared or more is a crop of dash. Okay, so here you need to understand whether it belongs to a C3 plant, whether it is a C3 plant or a C4 plant. Okay, now C4 cycle occurs in C4 plants like sugarcane, maize, and C4 cycle provides a more efficient way of carbon dioxide fixation than C3. I just told you the difference between these two in the earlier questions. C3 resembles Calvin cycle. And another thing that I told here, it takes place in the dark. So here it is almost similar to C3, but in additional you have another process also which takes place apart from C3. Additionally it happens. Okay, so that is the only difference between C3 and C4. So sugarcane comes under C4. Okay, so here a very efficient converter of solar energy with net productivity of 2 to 4 kg meter squared or more is a crop of sugarcane. Here they are talking about the C4 plant. So you should look for the C4 plant in the given option. In the given option, wheat, rice, bajra are all C3 plants. Okay, this efficiency is seen in C4 plants. Always remember this. The correct answer to this question is option B, sugarcane. Okay. Hence more productivity. The rest are C3 plants. So that is what they have mentioned here. Whatever I've told here is only seen in the solution part. Next question here. The size of chlorophyll molecule is dash. So this is a standard question. Okay. These are standard values where you need to by heart. There will not be any change here. So chlorophyll has a tetrapyrrole porphyrin ring which has a head of 15 into 15 Armstrong and the tail is 20 Armstrong. So this is a standard value. You don't have any particular explanation for this. This is a fact. You have to take it as it is. So when they ask you a question like this, remember the head of the chlorophyll is 15 into 15 Armstrong and tail is 20 Armstrong. Okay, the correct answer is option C. And it is a tetrapyrrole porphyrin ring. Okay, next question. This question was asked in the year 2016. Emerson's enhancement effect and red drop have been instrumental in the discovery of dash. So what do you mean by this Emerson effect? Emerson enhancement effect. Okay, this effect can be described. It is this Emerson effect is the increase in the rate of photosynthesis after chloroplast is exposed to the light of wavelength of 680 nanometer. Okay, 680 nanometer, or sometimes it even goes beyond 680 nanometer. When simultaneously exposed to light of both wavelength, the rate of photosynthesis is far higher than that of the sum of red light and far red light photosynthesis rate. So what is this red drop? If you see, red drop occurs because the decrease in the quantum yield. Okay, quantum yield is the number of oxygen molecules released per light quanta observed. So the Emerson effect is related to the increase in photosynthesis. We are talking about the increase in photosynthesis. Okay. So we are talking about the increase in photosynthesis when lights of two different wavelengths are provided together. So by now you have guessed the answer. The right answer is option B, two photosystems operating simultaneously. So when we talk about Emerson enhancement method, it clearly talks about we are giving light of two wavelength, and that is not in different times. It is happening simultaneously. So that is what you need to remember here. So here you have a picture which talks about that emergent red drop and enhancement effect. So you see here, right, the 680 nanometer light, then you have 700. 680 plus 700 gives you red plus far red. So there is an increase in the rate of photosynthesis. So that is what is the overall aspect of emergent enhancement effect and red drop. Okay, the correct answer is option B. Next question here, which was asked in the year 2015. Cytochromes are found in dash. So what is cytochromes first? You need to know that, right? How can you describe cytochromes? See, cytochromes can be defined, I mean they are of different types. You have cytochrome P450, you have different types. Now cytochromes are nothing but the proteins. What they are? Protein containing a heme factor. Okay, they are classified according to the type of heme and its mode of binding. So it is classified based on the heme factor. I just now told you we have cytochrome P450 and all that. It is based upon that. Now these cytochromes are found in the cristae of mitochondria. Okay, cristae are the ones which are found in mitochondria. Here you have a diagram which shows cristae here. So this is cristae. Can you see it here? This is cristae. Cytochromes are found in mitochondria and they're located in the inner membrane of mitochondria and they are related to phosphorylation. Okay, the correct answer is option B, cristae in mitochondria. Okay, next question. The oxygen evolved during photosynthesis comes from water molecules. Which one of the following pairs of elements is involved in this reaction? This is a very easy question for you. Obviously it has magnesium because we've already seen the chlorophyll formula where you had magnesium in it. So it is obviously not manganese. Are you sure about it? No. What I said is just a gist. See, when we spoke about chlorophyll, we saw the molecular formula had magnesium in it, and we also said the element that is helpful in it is also magnesium. But here they are asking us the oxygen evolved during photosynthesis comes from water molecules. Which one of the following pairs of elements are involved in this reaction? So here if you see, magnesium has nothing to do here. Okay, they are asking us the oxygen has evolved during photosynthesis. They are not asking any help in photosynthesis. The photosynthesis has been completed and oxygen has been evolved from the process. Now the oxygen evolved during photosynthesis comes from water molecules. What all we saw? What all is liberated? We saw water plus oxygen plus ATP, which is liberated. Right, ATP will be used by the plant now. Apart from that, water and oxygen. So the photosynthesis process has been carried out. So magnesium doesn't have any role to play here. That is why I told you in the beginning, these questions will easily trick you, because immediately when you see magnesium, you will have the tendency to go for that option. Read the question clearly. Don't get confused. Here they are talking about a process where photosynthesis has already been completed. So magnesium has no way to enter in. The correct answer is manganese and chlorine. Okay, during photosynthesis, photolysis of water is induced by manganese and chlorine. Always remember this. There are chances for you to get confused because when you see keywords like photosynthesis, oxygen, you will immediately go for magnesium. But here it clearly mentioned oxygen evolved. It means that the process is over. Okay, the correct answer to this question is option D. So with this we complete the part 2 photosynthesis video. Hope to meet you in the next part of the same chapter. Thank you.